I was racing to catch the daylight. Well, no, I wasn't racing. I just planned out my timing so that I could get over here and get these messages out. I've been recording all my messages in this little notebook. Matches the sky right now. The sunset. There's so much that I want to talk about, but let me start with this. You want to build a life of joy and happiness. You want to build a life that has a foundation of joy and happiness, and you don't want any misery in that foundation. You don't want any misery to be your base, because that's a bad base. That was a little confirmation burp right there. You don't want misery in your base. You don't want the base of your friendships to be misery. You don't want the base of your livelihood to be misery. You don't want the base of your home to be misery. 1, 2, 3, as I said that. You've got to build a life of happiness, and they want you to think that that can't be it. I know it's so hard to have so much happiness when you're a fighter, and I know this collective is a fighting collective, just fighting and fighting and fighting. It's really exhausting sometimes, but it's not necessary in every area of your life, and there are smarter ways to fight. And simultaneously, you need to embrace your happiness and your whimsy and your wonder, because you're a ball of contradictions. That's what I'm hearing. You are so many contradictory things in one person, and people don't know how to interpret that. People don't know how to interpret you, because you're a fighter, but you're also so happy, and you have such whimsy and wonder for the world. And it's like, how can someone be so tough and yet also so gentle and sincere? 303 as I said that. And you need to figure out when your happiness threatens insecure people. Oof. Not so that you can shrink yourself, but so you can act accordingly. It's about protecting yourself from other people. Your energy needs to be protected. Not everyone deserves your energy. Oh, and 333 came up right in the midst there. You're learning the benefits of celebrating and being happy quietly, with only specific people being invited to know. That is so important, because I know this is a collective of people who have always had the happiness beat out of them. Oof. Maybe verbally, maybe physically, psychologically. The threat of being happy, the threat of happiness, and I'm saying the threat, but it's not a threat. People are threatened by it, and people are threatened by how you are so happy, how you have such joy in your life, and you're on the defense about it. You've always been on the defense about it. You're like, let me double down. I'm excited about this. I'm gonna be double happy. And also, you were kind of naive. Like, when you had things to celebrate, when you had reasons to be happy, you shared it with everyone. And that had consequences because people got really mad at you. People judged you. People, I'm hearing isolation, chastising. You can't be happy. You can't experience joy. Not with this horrible world we live in. Not when I'm not experiencing happiness. That's the kind of stuff that got projected onto you, and you're less naive now. You know that, and that might have stifled your happiness. That might have made you push that down and not bring it out anymore. Not even bring it out to yourself. Because I'm hearing you used to be so happy. You used to be so happy despite you dealing with all of these awful, awful things. You used to be so enamored with life, no matter what horrible things you were dealing with. Because I'm getting the sense that you dealt with some really bad things that you kept hidden. Nobody knew the extent of the battles that you were fighting, and you still chose to be happy. That's a threat to people. That is a threat. Because it shows that happiness is a choice. It shows that happiness is a choice that you had the ability to choose every single time. And that's what I'm saying about fighting. That's a fighter's attitude. You said, let me get back in the ring again. Let me get back on it again. I am gonna be happy. And that is, some people want everything going for them. Everything. They will have great things happening for them, and they cannot be happy. And that's the people who are threatened by you. And so what you need to do now is find the balance. You need to find the balance between that happiness and that mystery, that enclosure. Don't feel the happiness. Because you deserve to feel every bit of happy. You deserve to feel every bit of your big feelings. But you know from experience that that's difficult. That is so difficult. And you may have some really bad crashes from your happiness. And I'm so sorry, because I'm hearing a lot of those crashes are because ultimately of other people. And that's not fair to you, but it's also difficult to channel all of that energy when you're feeling things, you're experiencing things that no one else has perspective on. Oh, tone it down. And then you like, tone it down? Excuse me. And you ramp it up. And it's the ramping up that you shouldn't have to do. You shouldn't have to feel like your happiness is at level 10, level 11. You shouldn't feel like you have to bump it up to that level to feel that happiness, to prove that happiness. It's like you're trying to prove that happiness to other people, make up for their misery. And that's not your job. That's not your job. It's not your job to make other people happy. Like I said, like Spirit channeled through me. Because thank you, Spirit. Thank you, guides. Thank you. It is not. It's a choice. It's a choice to be happy, and you keep making that choice. You keep making that difficult choice to be happy, and other people aren't. Other people aren't. That's their problem. I started a note in my phone, and it's titled "Good things are always happening to me." And every day I'm listing. A girl on Threads had this had this idea, and I think she said she got it from her friend. So let's pass it on. I hate that I'm not giving credit where credit is due. But remember, all of our ideas, when we channel them, they're not ours independently. We don't own them. I don't have ownership over any of the ideas that I share. I just have the privilege of putting them out into the world. And yeah, ownership is fake. 11/11, as I said that. Ownership is fake. Yeah, it's a channel for another time. We got enough stuff to do. Yeah, because I wanna go over this next channel. Start your year lists now. You know, it's almost the new year. It's almost 2026. List all of the movies and TV shows that you watched. What books you read. Maybe books you started or read excerpts from. Books that you completed, you finished. What your biggest achievements and lessons were. I don't know, those are some ideas, but just start making your lists, because then as the new year starts, you can kind of build the lists for 2026 as 2026 goes along. It can be in books, it can be on your phone, it can be on, a computer or something. I do love pen and paper, though. Pen to paper. Study your conversion of energy. Study how you take energy and how you take things in and turn it into something else. When you eat a meal, how does that energy convert within you? When you drink a coffee, how does that energy convert into you? When you take a shower, when you brush your teeth, how does that energy convert into, I don't even want to say productivity, because that's too clinical a term, I feel like. But how does it convert into, I don't want to say functioning either, because that also seems too clinical. I think the word that I'm looking for is living. How does that convert into you living? Because that can be getting your to-do list done. It can be resting. It can be anything in your life. Because it's not about productivity. It's not about functioning. It's about living. Ugh, thank you, Spirit. Wow. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm just gonna keep going through these, and some of them I'm gonna skip over. Some of them I'm gonna leave for later, because I am not on a time crunch, but I'm losing daylight here. Thank you, Spirit, for forcing me to make the most of my time. Also, I love recording channels in the outside. What? Under a tree, in a park. I had a whole bunch of people walking by me too, and I'm like, I'm crazy. Keep it pushing. You cannot let others' anxieties and judgments bleed onto you. It will distance you from your intuition and the path that you must take. This is so hard. Oh my God, this is hard. This is probably one of the most difficult things that you are struggling with. 1515, as I said, that this is so hard because you feel such big emotions and you feel responsible for other people's emotions. You feel personally responsible for making people happy. It's called people pleasing. You feel personally responsible for making others happy. What did we just discuss? That's a choice. That is a choice. That is people's choice. They are not making that choice. You are. And this is another one of those contradictory items. Because you feel such happiness, and then you feel such anger and frustration and just all of the bad, like, I'm seeing like a big ball of like scribbles. Like, you know, when like a big ball of like scribbles is animated and it's just, it's very chaotic, kind of like static on the television. That's your emotions when you're upset. And Spirit says, take notice of what makes you mad on social media. Ask yourself, why am I so bothered by this? Instead of responding to the original post, try making your own. Figure out what energy you want that post to channel. What's the energy you want to attract by saying your take on the matter? 1717, as I said that. Resist the urge to be on the defense. I know it is so difficult to figure out when your defense is needed. Because we just talked about how people hate to see you happy. People have always hated seeing you happy. So, like, how are you not supposed to be on the defense? How are you not supposed to be so defensive? Discernment. That's the answer. Easier said than done, but that's the answer. Literally, the last channel I wrote down, use discernment in your battles. Always. Always. This last channel is very difficult. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to save that for later. No, that's going to be that one's big. That one's tough. That one's tough message, and I don't want to dive into that now because we dove into so much as it is. And it's very, I don't know, I'm figuring out how to channel. I'm figuring out exactly how I want to do it, because different people do it differently, and I'm trying to figure out my specific take on it. I'm trying to figure out my flow, my thing, and it is very exhausting. Like, I'll be finishing up a channel and I'll be like, damn, why am I so exhausted? It's like, because this is a type of work. This is a type of work that requires energy, and even though it just flows through me so seamlessly, it's like, you know, the avatar state, when they go into the avatar state, and then, like, whoosh, afterwards, it's like, damn. So I'm figuring out I'm figuring out what that feels like, what that looks like. And I'm figuring out who the collective is too. 'Cause I know that the people who need to see this will see it when the time is right. I trust in spirit. I trust in our guides and our ancestors that everything happens at the right time. I know that someone will find this at any point in time that it exists. So that time is the right time. And with that, I love you so much, and I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you've stuck around and listened to me yap. I love you, and I'll see you soon.